This is Hoodies. Yo, testing 1 2 1 2. Testing 1 2. Word up. Testing 1 2. We gonna go ahead and get into this thing. How much can a heart take? That song's been in my head all morning. Dead ass. Lucky Day, and I think it's featuring Yeba. Forgot the name of the record, but man, R&B is still alive, man. R&B is still alive. But let's go ahead and get into this. Check it out, man. Welcome back to another dope session of Footies the Podcast. I'm the host, Degar Rashidi, coming at you live from the Skill Suite, but maybe not so live, but we coming at you. Word, take that with you. So we just go ahead and get into this thing. I'm gonna shoot straight from the hip like I always do. Check it out, man. I want to start this off by talking to mothers. Yep, that's where I'm going. Mothers. Alright, and particularly mothers with teenage sons and or daughters, right? And listen, if the shoe don't fit, then you can't wear it, right? Okay, listen. When you go to functions like your son's basketball banquet or football banquet or whatever it is, award ceremonies, graduation, whatever the case is, you do realize that teenage boys think a lot about sex, right? So imagine what your teenage son's friends are thinking when you pull up with your ass and tits out. Now, of course, I'm not talking literally they're naked, but y'all know what I mean. Y'all know what I mean. And look, is it me or a lot of you so hell-bent on getting attention to where you don't care where it comes from? It's like, shit, you will get it any way you can. So it seems that a lot of you don't care if you're getting gawked at by old gym teachers, old teachers, period, or teenage boys. Me personally, I think that shit is inappropriate. I think it is extremely inappropriate to show up like you're ready for the club at your son's function. I think that's, come on, fam. Okay. Listen, if you are a teenage, if you're a grown man now, and say your mom's was in decent shape, you know what I mean? Face card was on point back when you was a teenager. I don't care if you're a teenage boy or girl. But if you had male friends as a teenager, you know your friends was like, your mom's is fine, fam. Your mom's is whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. Now imagine what they thinking when you show up, you know what I'm saying? Where you got the poke outs, where you can see the nipple ring. Or where you can see the thong or the panties, because fam, I think some of you are so hell-bent on getting attention. And listen, I get it. Some of y'all be on that, shit, mama gotta have a life too. Listen, man. At this moment, it just hit me. The name of this episode is called Overkill. Some of y'all, it's overkill with y'all. Personally, I don't think you should be wearing nothing sexy to your child's event. I don't think you should be wearing nothing sexy, period. Okay? There's a time and place for everything. That ain't the time. That's not the time. That says to me that you don't care who gives you the attention. You just want it. That shit is trash, man. Dead ass is trash, and it's selfish. Have you ever thought if whether or not you're making your son feel uncomfortable? Has that ever crossed your mind? And then, listen, if you show up to a function, if you show up to your own daughter's function, what kind of example do you think that's setting for your daughter? I'm grown. I don't give a fuck about you being grown. This isn't about being grown. This is about what's appropriate and what's not. I don't like that, man. It's inappropriate. It's inappropriate, It's trash. It's trashy. And I'll say it again. Some of you are hell bent on trying to get some attention. Sometimes I really feel sorry for some of y'all. And the way y'all be showing up to these young teenage events. I don't think it's a good look. If that was my mom's, it would be embarrassing. It would be very embarrassing. Cover that shit up. Cover up. You know what I'm saying? Act like you got some class. You understand? And that's all I'm going to say about mothers right now. Now I would like to address parents, period. Go ahead and click off if y'all feel the need. It's all good. I'm going to still speak what I speak. You understand? So listen, I ain't trying to tell people how to raise their kids. Okay, there's no such thing as the perfect parent. I wasn't perfect. My parents weren't perfect. You understand? There's just no such thing as a perfect parent. There is no manual for this shit. Right? But, yo, why don't y'all try telling y'all kids the truth? What do I mean by that? I'm saying that because I had a kid in my chair not too long ago. And he was in here with his little brothers. Well, I don't know if they was his little brothers, but he was in here with his two other brothers. And you parents are actually out here telling them that Jesus put them in their mother's stomach. I ain't here to debate y'all religious beliefs. What y'all believe is what y'all believe. And I'd like to think I've toned down a lot throughout the years. You understand? I've toned down a lot. But for real, why y'all lying to y'all kids? Especially if you a man going along with that shit. You basically telling your kids that you had nothing to do with them getting here. How you sound? Jesus put them in their mom's stomach? Word? So, and here's another thing I would like to add to that. Okay? See, while y'all telling these things to y'all kids, you need to understand that these kids are a lot smarter than we give them credit for. Because one of the young men who sat in my chair that day that I'm speaking of, right? I said to him, well, so what you saying that dude, I was pointing to his father. I said, yo, that dude right there is not your father? He said, but he is my dad. But I said, but he didn't have nothing to do with you getting here? Well, yeah, he was at the hospital. So I said, well, so how is he your father then? And the young man said to me, he said, I know, right? It doesn't make sense, does it? That young man already knows the story don't make sense. It's probably just in his best interest to play along with it. Kind of like playing along with the whole concept of the tooth fairy. Okay, kids realize earlier than what we think that the tooth fairy's not real. But they play along with it because it's profitable. If my tooth gets loose and eventually comes out and I put it up under my pillow, one of you motherfuckers is going to put some money under my pillow. You know what I'm saying? Under the mattress or under the, not the mattress, but under the sheet. Well, sometimes the mattress, but it's going to be some money there when I get up in the morning. And truth be told, some of those kids are already up. They watched you do it. Kids are a lot smarter than what we give them credit for. But again, about the religious part. Help me understand what is so vulgar about explaining to kids about the reproductive system. Well, that's not considered the reproductive system. No. Okay, what's so vulgar about explaining to kids about how they got here? You know what I'm saying? What's so vulgar about the sperm and the egg? Okay, just about anything can be explained in a way that kids can understand. Just about anything can be explained in a way that kids can understand. So why not Why not break down the? Okay, for example, I'm not saying everybody got to do what I do, but for example, my two oldest sons in particular, I taught them about the birds and the bees, if you will, at a time when just the concept of boys and girls kissing, their response was like, ew, gross. That's how early I started. And I explained it in a way that a young kid could understand. So I only went so far, but it was the truth. And when they got older and their brains started to develop more, they would ask more questions. So, Dad, tell me again about so and so. So you said this goes into that, and then when the sperm comes out, it hits the egg, and then tell me again, how does that? What is that called? Well, that's called mitosis, and so on and so forth. I taught them early. I don't really get. I don't understand the purpose of lying to your kids about something that's natural. I don't understand that shit. I mean, shit, if you're gonna make up a story, make up your own. So it's not lost on me, right, that a lot of parents want to shield their kids from certain realities. Personally, I don't think that's a reality that you should shield from them. I personally don't see anything wrong with that. But I get it. There's certain things that you don't want them to know early. I'm not saying that once you explain that to them, that now they should be able to watch rated R movies with you. I'm not saying that from that day forward they're qualified to be watching porn. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, tell these kids the truth, man. Tell them the truth. Right? I don't necessarily have to get into the whole concept of telling a child who they daddy really is, who they real daddy is, and this, that, and the third. I ain't really got to go into that. That's a no-brainer. But I get trying to shield your kids from certain things. I get trying to protect them. But that whole lie about the religious thing is worse to me than the whole story about the stork bringing you. That's worse. Not to mention, once again, it's overkill. Why can't you tell them the truth? Why can't you just, what's so vulgar about telling them about the sperm and egg? It's not that, what's so vulgar? Because at some point, you're going to have to tell them the truth anyway. And you better hope that you tell them first. You understand? Because there's a kid out there on this school bus or whatever who actually knows the truth. Okay? You better hope that you get to them before that kid. Because, listen, when that kid gets to them, okay, so say the kid does tell them something on a school bus or in class or you know what I'm saying, on the way to, on a bathroom break. And then now they come home asking you, and now you got to reiterate the lie again, only to someday tell them the truth. I get there's no manual to this shit. And I'm not judging you. I do think the shit's stupid. I do think it's stupid. Jesus put you there, and God is everybody's daddy. Stop lying to these kids, fam. Stop lying to them. Look like I'm deep in thought right now, right? Because I was just thinking back to another time. When this one brother some years ago was explaining to me how he explained the condition of black folk to his daughter. And he said to his daughter, this is what he's telling me this. He said that he told his daughter that black people broke a covenant with God. And that's why we go through the crap that we go through. Y'all do what y'all want to do. No judgment here. I do have an opinion. I think that shit is stupid too. I also think it's dangerous. Because, listen, if you tell someone that the reason black folk are in the condition that they are in, and it's because black folk broke a covenant, how you think that young child is going to feel about their own people? How you think they're gonna feel about black people? I ain't even gonna go any deeper into that. You think about that. Y'all think about that. Tell these kids the truth. I get trying to shield them, but some of y'all, man, this is overkill. Dead ass. Overkill. Word. See, I don't like that. Porzingis rare injury. Man, I don't like that. Determined day to day after he suffered a serious left leg injury. Yeah, I don't like that. I'm not liking that at all. Right. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, man. Anyway, so yeah, so here we are. The book I spoke about in the last episode, Made in America. Made in America by my good brother and client, Stanley Skinner. Brother Stanley, okay, he's an architect, but here's some letters that I am so unaware of what the hell they mean. I'm assuming these are things that he has, right? He's got an MCP, CBCO, an APC, loves his family, has a great love for people, and is a friend to his friends. Stanley is the youngest of 9 kids and the first to complete college. Stanley is a master codes and professional. Stanley is a master codes professional, and he holds several advanced FEMA and state certifications. After discovering at the age of 6 his father, who died of an apparent heart attack, Stanley learned early that life is indeed short and you only get one shot to make the best of it. Stanley is most proud of his congressional nomination to West Point Military Academy. Stanley's own struggles in life, his love for people, and his love for motivating people prompt him to write Made in America. Stanley currently resides in Virginia and is currently a client of mine and frequently frequents the Skill Suite. Word up. So check it, man. So Life in America is a fictional tale about, I guess you can say, his alter ego. His name is Stanley. His alter ego is Ostanibo. Right? So this is a fictional tale about having been free over on the continent. He didn't specify where exactly on the continent. And it's basically just imagining, you know how sometimes we watch, like coming up as a kid, we watch Roots or whatever. And as I got older, I watched 12 Years a Slave. I watched Rebirth of a Nation, particularly the one that Nate Parker made. The Nat Turner rebellion. And so oftentimes we think like, man, how would I have survived that? Or would I have survived living in those times? So that, for the most part, is what this book is about. There's a lot of information in here in regards to slavery, pre-slavery, how we were bred, because there were certain slaves used for breeding, breeding in new slaves. You understand what I'm saying? There's a whole lot of history in here. A lot of history that I did know, a lot of history that I didn't know. And they talked about the types of slavery. Jim Crow being, which is like the grandchild of slavery. They were like the black codes or the slave codes or Jim Crow, if you will. So there's a lot of information in here about that. I think it's pretty dope that he cited his sources, so you know exactly where to go get some of that information for yourself. So this is a pretty decent read. However, if there was something in this book, which like I said is a decent read, but some things that I would have wanted more of. Okay, so he was taken from his homeland on the continent of Africa, of course, from his wife and his child. So He went over a lot of, the nuances that come with being a slave, being whipped, being told to pick cotton out in the sweltering heat and that sun. Ostanibo himself became a breeder, and that was something that was extremely egregious to him, because it wasn't his wife that he was making love to. So about the thing that I wish could be better, right? So I wish there could have been some specifics in terms of what was, his particular slave master's name, Mr. What, right? Because of course, all the slaves, their last name became that of the master. So if the master's name was O'Leary, it would be Ostanibo O'Leary, or if it was Miller, it would be Ostanibo Miller. You understand? So I wish there was some dialogue between Ostanibo and the slave master, or the overseer, or you know what I'm saying, or between that, and then some dialogue between himself and other slaves, or some dialogue between himself and the other female slave that he bred with. That's probably the only thing that's missing there. You know what I'm saying? Where he could have had, so that I can get a visual of where he was. I mean, sure, we know he was enslaved. We don't know where exactly he was. Now, granted, most slaves don't know where they are, I guess. I don't know, man. I don't know. I haven't been a slave, and I don't think any of y'all have. But that's probably one of the things that I would have liked to read in this book. Good read. A lot of information in here. But yeah, he talked about the ride over, and how the slaves were, packed in the ship, and how, a lot of them were, there were excrement all over themselves, and disease spread throughout the ship, and the smell was so bad, people, would throw up, and this, that, and the third, and for the ones who didn't survive, they were thrown overboard, like trash. Because of course, slaves were not looked at as being human. We were just product. You understand? Commodities, if you will. So decent read. Again, he wrote something in here for me, to Rashidi, a great barber, and a good friend. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate the autographed book, and I appreciate the copy of the book. Decent book, and y'all should cop that. Brentwood Publishers Group. Word up, made in America. Congratulations, brother Stan. Word up. It was a pleasure. Word. Yeah, so yeah, man. The finals are here. The finals are here. Today's Tuesday, the what? Today is June 11th. You know what I'm saying? So game 3 is tomorrow. Celtics are up 2-0. I got again the Celtics in 7. It's questionable if Porzingis will play the next game. I think he tweaked, you know what I'm saying, his leg in the last game. That ain't looking good. So it's day to day with Porzingis. I'm not liking that. So that's all I got right now, fam. Real quick. I'm not necessarily sure if I'll have a chance to record again between now and Sunday. And I believe I spoke about this in the last episode or the one before that. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna do it again. Check it. So Father's Day is every day. Father's Day is every day, right? So which means that there's no such thing as Father's Day. I, for one, again, don't like the notion of being told when to honor my mother or my father or my grandparents or whatever. I'm big on birthdays. You know what I'm saying? I'm big on born days, but every day is Father's Day. However, so if, going by my logic, if every day is Father's Day, then today, I would like to honor fathers. So It's a thankless job, a very thankless job. The news don't really show fathers, particularly black fathers, in a positive light. Yeah, man, it's pretty crazy. I would like to also give a shout out to my pop. My pop is a living example of how it's not how you start, but it's how you finish. Now, my old man's not finished, he's still alive. However, the man he used to be and the man he is now are two different men, yet it's still him. You know what I'm saying? My father has made his fair share of mistakes. He's also a living example of what it's like if you neglect the time and so on and so forth to be a father to your kids. He and I, we've had our differences, right? If you've been following me long enough and watching my content long enough, then you are so aware of it. You dig? So aware of that. You know, we've had some differences. However, we good now. And, I remember dumbing down my relationship with my father, because of my father's past. I got siblings. In fact, none of my siblings really rock with him like that. Out of all his sons and I'm his only son. So out of all his offspring, if you will, I'm the only one that he has a relationship with. And I get why. I'm not making no excuses for him. You know what I'm saying? Even he eats that. Even he eats, the things that led him to be here. Right? And again, his plight is a telltale sign of what happens when you neglect your responsibilities. Now, I'm not saying that he was a total no-show. You understand? He wasn't a total no-show, but there were a lot of things he could have did better. How can I say this? What I am going to say is it's not all his fault. It's not all his fault. You understand what I'm saying? Now I know this is about fathers, but let me just throw this in there. There are mothers who don't have it all figured out either. There are mothers who were not necessarily present when they should have been. There are a lot of mothers who don't necessarily. Okay. There are mothers who omit certain truths. Because to do that benefits them. I'm not talking greasy about anyone, but the truth is the truth, and that's about all that's as far as I'm gonna go with that. But for you fathers who were present in the lives of your son and daughters, or daughters' lives, I salute you. Right? For you fathers who dropped the ball and know exactly where you dropped the ball and became aware enough to right some wrongs. Now, righting that wrong, you may not have been given the opportunity to right the wrong. But the fact that you tried, you understand? I salute you there, because now you got some experience. You see, now you're living proof of what can happen when a man don't do what he's supposed to do, when a man is not on his square when it comes to his kids. You know what I'm saying? You're not a bum. You ain't just taking up space. You are a living example of what a man shouldn't do. Hey, listen. Some of us men haven't necessarily been all that wise when it came to choosing the woman whom we chose to procreate with. Shit, if we keeping it a buck, a lot of us wasn't thinking at all. We just got with a broad, unprotected. She ends up pregnant. We really don't know her like that. She really don't know us like that outside of the bedroom. You know what I'm saying? And once the lust has worn off, and whatever substance you might have been on when y'all linked up, you know what I'm saying, the liquor, the weed, and whatever else, right? That's when you saw each other like, ugh, like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? So, but that's our fault for not doing our due diligence. That's our fault for being lustful and all those other things, right? Because hey, foolish women will produce foolish children. A foolish father will have to deal with some foolish children because of a foolish mother. Let's just call it what it is. Or vice versa. You know what I mean? The mother doesn't always end up with the custody. Sometimes the father does. And now the mother has to put up with a foolish man. Father's Day is every day. So even on today, I want to wish all fathers a happy Father's Day. Listen, man, you may have dropped the ball, and you may want to get back in the game, if you will. I want to wish you good luck. I want to salute you for having finally come to your senses, to have finally, matured. And I wish you well on your journey, as far as trying to get right. Maybe that opportunity has passed. That doesn't necessarily mean that you can't mentor some young kids, some young brothers. Doesn't mean that you can't mentor them. You can still take those. Listen, you a man, especially in America. You a man. You got something to offer. Think about that. And listen, if you are a son or a daughter of a father who wasn't present, right? And you've spent a decent amount of time in your life feeling some type of way because your father wasn't there for whatever reasons. I get it. You probably don't even give a damn. I don't blame you. I didn't care either. You know what I'm saying? At one point, right? So maybe you've opened yourself up to this relationship, and for whatever reasons, you're just not feeling it. I really don't even know what to say. There's something I want to offer to that conversation, but I'm having a loss for words. But I do want to say that if you don't want a relationship with them, just come out and say, look, I wish not to have a relationship with you. Just come out and tell them that. Don't string them along. You understand what I'm saying? When a man humbles himself and wants to do right, I think, especially your father, okay, I don't give a fuck how you feel, it's still your father. And although you are disappointed to string them along and be disrespectful, knowing damn well you don't want a relationship in the first place, just come out and tell that man. Just come out and say that, because anything other than that is overkill. Word. So to all the fathers out there, my father included, I salute all y'all. I salute you all. Happy Father's Day. Word up. So yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. And yeah, man. So I ended up ditching Mastery. I ended up ditching it to read my client's books. So now I'm gonna get back on Mastery. Robert Greene has a way of writing that he kind of ODs. So you got to kind of go in with a plan when you're reading his book. But anyway, I'm looking forward to the next read. Yeah, man. Y'all stay up. Thank you for watching. Once again, man, thank you for your subs. Thank you for your comments, your likes, your shares, all that good shit, man. I appreciate all of you, man. So yeah, y'all stay up. And yeah, man. Love yourselves. Be good. Shout out to black folk everywhere. You know, men, women, boys, girls, the elders, everybody. Y'all stay up, man. I'm the God Rashidi. And this is Hoodies. Peace. Hey. This is Hoodies.